scare. Happy Wednesday, gamers. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to stream. How we doing? It's a Wednesday, my dudes. Ah! Wow. Welcome to I'm Drawing. Welcome to I'm Drawing stream. Today we are drawing Petit Baby Vesper. Little baby Vesper. She's my baby Blorbito. And we are drawing her. And hold on, let me switch some of these tabs around so I'm not looking at stuff moving on my screen all the time. Hi! Okay, a couple of people are pointing out the little Ariana on my shoulder. Yes! Do you guys know why there is a little Ariana on my shoulder here? If I bend like that, you can't see her. But, so, if you hadn't heard, the second main character from my webcomic, my grumpiest girly pop, Ariana, she is getting a makeshift plushie happening right now. You can get it for the next week and a half. She will be available on makeshift. But after the campaign ends, she will no longer be available. So if you want this plushie, there is a link pinned at the top of chat. There's also a link in the description of the video. And she is here for marketing purposes. Teehee. Teehee. But yeah, so she's there for marketing purposes. If you guys would like to get an Ariana of your very own, you have 12 days, 13 hours, and 57 minutes. Just so you know. We've officially hit the funding threshold for her, so the plushies will get made, but I'm going to continue screaming until we've reached the end of it, because complete disclosure, I get a pay bump if we get to 400, and so, you know, that would benefit me, but also I just want to make sure that everyone who wants an Ariana plushie make sure to get one. And I get a fairly significant more money if we hit 400 because it's something with the manufacturer. But yeah, already ordered mine. She's gonna be my buddy for travels. Hell yeah! I'm taking the prototype Ariana plush to a con this weekend, and I'm gonna take a bunch of silly pictures. Everybody's around me is gonna be going in for their cosplay photo shoots, and meanwhile there's just gonna be me doing my silly little plushie photo shoot. But I need photos for marketing purposes. Hello. Petite baby kitten chicken strip. What are you doing? What are you doing? Sniffing around? Milo is under my desk. She's sniffing around. She's sniffing. She's sniffing. Sniffing? Yeah? You have something you want to say? On your screen? Scream Balimber? Scream baby? Are you upset because I don't have the lap blanket down so you cannot be on my lap? Is that why you are screaming at me? Would you like me to put the lap blanket down? Hold on, everyone. My child is, my child demands attention. Milo! Milo! Ooh, so baby. Ooh, so baby. Okay, the lap hammock yep, immediately. Immediately. I put the lap blanket on my lap and she is immediately in my lap. Hello, Milo. And she has used me as a trampoline to get up onto her desk. And now she's on my lap again. Hello, everyone. Sorry for technical difficulties. And by technical difficulties, I mean there is a cat in my lap. There is a gatito in the lapito. Hey, baby. I pat your butt. I gave you butt pats. I gave you butt pats. Milo? Sweet gatito, do you think that perhaps you could sit down and not stand in my lap? You are causing a little bit of a disturbance in the lap zone. She says no. I must be fully standing as I make my biscuits. I take my craft very seriously, she says. I'm having feline difficulties. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Hello, baby. Hi. I'm going to grab your spine. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to massage it like a baguette. It's one of those moments where I feel like we need a kitty cam, but I don't have a good way to set that up because they are constantly on the move. Hi. You sniffing my tablet pen? Yes, she is. Can you put your little butt down? There we go. There we go. Lay down in my lap. That's more comfortable for you anyway. But yeah, so today, I talked about this on my last stream, but for those who are not here, my next video for the tube of you is I'm making a video about world building, but here's the thing. I don't like world building very much. Or at the very least, I don't put a lot of like focus on world building when I'm developing a story. I mostly think about the characters and the story told with them. So what I usually do is when I'm getting ready to make a story, I write all the characters first. Like I figure out all the characters I want to be in the story, and I figure out what I want the characters to be like, and I figure out what I want them to be able to do, and I do all this other stuff. I really figure out my characters first, and then I vacuum form the world building to suit my needs for what those characters are going to be able to do. And so the video is going to be about world building by using the characters that you've made. Just as like a specific type of the world building process is like, I know that some people will just come up with like, they have world builder's disease is what I've heard it called, is they will just constantly be thinking about the world and they don't think about their characters until well after they have the entire world established. That is not me. That is not me, even a little bit. I'm like, I have to know who my characters are going to be before I even a little bit start thinking about the world. I want to know my actors before I start making the sets, you know what I mean? And so the video will be talking about that process while demonstrating— Frankie's asleep again. God damn it! I need to fix the fucking bot. It'll be online in like 30 seconds. Sorry. Anyway, so in the next video, I'm going to be talking about like that process and how it works for me. And also I'm going to be like, hey, I've been working on world building for this book I want to write, but also I think that world is going to be the setting for several stories that I want to write, because I don't want to have to come up with a different fantasy universe every single time I want to write one of these stories. I want them to just all take place in the same one, so I don't have to come up with a new one every single time. And so basically, I've just been kind of like exploring character relationships. It's like, okay, this character, who are the other members of this character's family? Who are their parents? Who are their descendants? What can they do? What's their vibe? And so that's how I came up with Vesper here. Vesper is an adopted grandchild of rodents. If you guys have seen my talking about my OC's part 2 video, I talked about like Rodin and Verity and them. But basically what happened is like Rodin, my guy, was very in love with these are all like past D&D characters of mine. But Rodin was very like hopelessly in love with Verity, and then Verity fucking beefed it and died. She gets resurrected later, spoilers. But he was so broken up about her dying that eventually he adopted a tiefling daughter, and gave her Verity's last name. And so like his name is Roden Dawnborough, but all of his kids they have the noblesse last name. And so Vesper here is like his great granddaughter, and Rodin's a dwarf, so he lives for a long time. He's still alive at this point in the story, but Vesper here is the youngest of 2 grandchildren in the current generation. She's a baby. She's a little baby, and she grew up listening to her grandpa's stories about this cool tiefling. I'm not going to call them tieflings. I have a different name for them in this universe, but I'll call them tieflings just for you guys' reference. Is like this tiefling knight who was so cool, and she passed away trying to save her friends, and she's heard like all these cool stories, and she's grown up wanting to be just like her, and she calls her grandma even though they're not technically blood related, but she has the same last name, and it's just like, I want to be just like her. And she's a baby. And she's a baby, and she wants to be a shonen anime protagonist so bad. And I originally came up with her, she was going to be like kind of a minor character in the Verity novel when I eventually wrote it. But unfortunately, she has, her main character syndrome is so intense that I'm also considering writing a story just focused on her. And yeah. So for my next video, I'm designing her and 2 of her companions. I don't have a plot for what a story focused on her would look like. It's like, I know what I want to do with the characters. It's like, I know what I want them to get to. I just don't know what kind of situation I'm gonna put them in just yet. Like, I have not had the inspiration fairy visit me in the night just yet. But in the meantime, I'm just poking at the babies and listening to music and thinking about them really hard. And I am drawing them because also, you know, trying to figure out these characters is helping me figure out the world building, because I'm like, okay, I want a character who can do this, and I want a character who has this type of thing in their backstory, and I wanted them to be able to have this kind of connection with this other person. And that, ironing those out for even characters who are not going to be, like, super big in the story is still just, like, it really helps you kind of flesh out your world building in ways that you might not have considered, especially if you're like me and you don't necessarily really care that much about world building and you think it's kind of a pain in the butt. It's a bit of an exercise to make you think about it. But yeah, TLDR, Vesper is a petite baby blorbito blibus, and I love her very, very much. She's a baby. And she kind of has Sailor Moon hair, because I was just like, what if I give her little fun buns? What if I do that? And then I did, and it was glorious. Which is very cute. But yeah, so I am doing kind of like I did for my talking about my OCs videos, and also the creating D&D character videos. I'm doing, you know, just like some full illustrations of her. And I have like rough concept art of her, and I've drawn her in my sketchbook a lot, but this is going to be the first like actually finished piece I draw of her, and then I will be using it for reference everywhere. Vesper is literally Sailor Moon is what I'm expecting. Not necessarily. She's a little bit more Chibi Moon, I think. But I also don't know like, that's kind of what I based her hairstyle off of, is a little bit more like Chibi Moon, but if the buns were like Sailor Moon shaped. Because she's got like the shorter, fluffier pigtails. And I also kind of based her color scheme off of Super Sailor Chibi Moon, which is like the pink but with the yellow as well. Because I tried, when I was like trying to figure out what colors I wanted Vesper to be, I was originally thinking I wanted to make her skin pink, but then she has very light pink hair because she bleaches it lighter colors so that she looks more like Verity. She's a little dork. But with the pink skin and the light hair, she looked too much like Felix. And so she has like kind of marigold yellow skin, but everything else about her is very pink, and I love that color scheme. It's very cute. She's a cute baby. I love whenever you say blorbitos, to the point I call my Orsies blobitos. Now, yes! Yes! I'm infecting you. I'm infecting others with my vocab, my cursed gamer brain vocab. What's the origin of Blorbo's Tumblr? It's from a Tumblr post, and it just kind of took over because it's a very satisfying word. The original post was something like, I can't remember the full context of the post, but someone was like, oh yes, me whenever I see Blorbo from my shows. It's just like some made up word that someone made up, and it's it's very funny. And so me being from Texas, I baby talk my cats with like Spanish diminutives. It's like they're my gatitos. And then it was just like, oh, Blorbo? Blorbitos. So that's where that came from. I was not the originator of the Tumblr post. I'm probably not the first person to say Blorbitos, but a lot of people credit me with it, which I'm like, I mean, there's no evidence to the contrary that I wasn't the first person to say it, but I probably wasn't. I just say it a lot. So, you're Latina. I am not, but I live in Texas, and I took a few years of Spanish. Also, I think adding ito to a word is fun, so that's what that comes from. Also, I don't think she's here right now, but one of my mods gets very giddy whenever I try and use my mediocre Spanish. So you can also blame Savannah a little bit. She encouraged it way too much.
Hi, Milo. Oh, here she is. Oh, I give you butt pats because your butt's right up on the microphone and everyone can hear the butt pats. There she goes.
As someone who speaks Spanish, go on. You don't want me to. My Spanish is very bad. Please start bless us with your mediocre Spanish. No. No. Nobody wants to hear that. It's the best part. No! You guys are gonna make fun of me. You guys are gonna make fun of me my shit-ass Spanish. No. Here, I'll say no in Spanish for you. No. You know that's a lie we all do. I know nothing. I am just a little anime girl on the internet, and I'm feeling very, very targeted and bullied right now. Oh, looks off-center.
Hi, Milo.
Who's a baby? Who's a baby? Speak Spanish. No! There, are you happy? Oh man, real talk though. I don't think I've like seriously used my Spanish since I worked at Cheesecake Factory. I mean Bees Lake Phylactery. Because there were a couple of the dudes in the back who like did the dishes and stuff and they spoke Spanish. And I started, you know, you eavesdrop on people and your high school Spanish lessons start coming back and you're like, oh, I know what that word is. And they also said a lot of words that I'm not going to repeat. But it was so funny because when I lived in Japan, straightens glasses. I'm technically trilingual, you guys, because I can speak English real good and I can speak Spanish and Japanese real bad. But that's still 3. But the problem is that when you speak 2 second languages real shitty like, sometimes you get them mixed up. Sometimes you get them an itty bitty little bit mixed up. Like, for example, if I was trying to speak in Japanese and I couldn't think of the word in Japanese, but I knew the word in Spanish, my brain would be like, just say the word in Spanish. They'll totally know what you're saying. And this is not helpful. This is not useful. My favorite instance of this, Monty Red Dragon, thank you for the super chat. How's life, Star? Lots of hugs, keep on drawing. I will, and life is going okay. I was just telling my therapist yesterday that I feel like after spending many months in the bad place, mentally, I'm finally feeling like I'm coming out of it, like, significantly. I haven't really felt like myself for the past couple months, and I'm finally digging myself out of the hole a little bit, just with the passage of time that consumes us all. Yeah, but doing a little better, So that's good. That's good. But anyway, back on my how would you come? Spanishanese like my fucked up Spanishanese conversation. I remember one time I went out to eat with a friend, and we went to one of those restaurants where you just like they just give you a grill and they give you meat to put on the grill and you just grill it yourself. And I guess we had like very fatty chicken that they gave us, and some of the fat dripped down onto the coals of the grill, and it made like this big old fireball. And it was like, you know, that happens and you think it's gonna die down after like a couple seconds. It didn't, and we were just like sat there, two useless white girls in Japan, and they didn't like give us any water or ice or anything to put on the grill, and so we were just like staring at it. We were like, what do we do? What do we do? This feels like a fire hazard. What do we do? It's not, the fire is not dying down. What do we do? And so we were trying to figure out, it's like, how do we say, excuse me, the fire's too big, help? We were trying to figure out how to say that. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to say on fire in Japanese. I know how to say it in Spanish, but that's not helpful. And so we did not actually say this to the servers, but we kept joking that our new phrase was sumimasen en fuego des. And that just lives in my brain forever now. That's just in my head for the rest of my days. Sumimasen en fuego des. Made me laugh. That's the kind of shit I'd put on a sticker if it made sense to literally anyone except for me. See, I originally made Vesper wear like a full suit of armor, kind of like Verity does. But then I realized she's baby and armor's heavy. So I feel like she would have less armor. She would probably just have like the bare minimum to still be armored, but like have it way less, because one, she's a teeny tiny baby and she doesn't have a whole lot of muscles. And also two, Vesper has like wind powers. That's one of her things. And so she can't fly, but she can just like, she can shoot herself up. She can make herself fall slower. She's an airbender essentially. Is kind of how her powers work. And so if she's wearing a heavy suit of armor, it's going to be a lot harder for her to have the increased mobility with the armor that she wears. Or with increased mobility with the wind powers. And so she's like, okay, I will wear just as much as I can without it weighing me down too much, so I can still like swoop around and stuff. Because I mentioned this on the last stream, but the tiefling equivalent that I have come up with and kind of bastardized into my own thing, they're not based on like demons and devils anymore. They are now based on elements. So all of my quote tieflings are actually elemental. Most of them anyway. The idea is that like the original TM, not tieflings, they're called Cinderins. The original Cinderins all had elemental powers, but over like centuries and millennia of just like intermingling with other like ancestries and stuff, just kind of the gifted magic, which is like everyone has superpowers. It's a bit like quirks in My Hero Academia. Originally all like Cinderins had quirks that were element related. Now they sometimes do. It's pretty common, but not everyone does. And so Vesper is one of the many who it's like you have mostly Cinderin in your lineage, and so she has elemental powers, and so she has she's wind-based. She has wind-based abilities. And there is another character that I'm drawing for this video who is mostly human and has a teensy bit of elvish. But they also had like a secret Cinderin great-grandmother whose like traits skipped 2 generations and then slammed into baby Cameron. Here they are, actually. I have their file open. And so they thought they were just human with a little bit of elvish in them. And then they hit puberty, started growing horns. The tips of their like fingers started changing colors and now they have electricity powers. And it was a whole thing for them. So we're gonna color this character on a future stream, but that is, that's Kemryn, spelled with a K. Kemryn, their baby. And then this is Senna, who is another character. I don't know what her gifted magic is yet. I have not figured it out. But yeah, so those are the 3 that I'm gonna be drawing for my next video. But yeah, prepare to hear me yap a bunch about the world building of this fantasy universe that I'm building on my next video, because that's basically the purpose of it. Yippee-ki-yay. I want her. Will you add Emery to the comic you're making? First of all, it's not a comic, it's a novel. So just clear that up. Secondly, I'm not sure. I would love to use Emery in one of my stories, but I'm either... Oh, hello. Milo is here. I'm either going to need to change a lot about her story and like how some of the things work to get her to work in this magic system that I've developed, or I'm going to have to make her a story that has an entirely different setting. The first one is probably more likely. Just because I don't like having to make an entirely new universe with every story I write. It's... Hi, ma'am! Also, yes, M. Creeper, thank you for the super chat. Delicious art, thank you. Thank you, I'm drawing. Thank you for the super chat. That had to have shown up on the mic, right? Milo Kitty Cat. She meow. She meow? That was vocal. She is very vocal. She screams at me constantly. She's baby. Hi. 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 She's back to the biscuit factory. Hard at work in the biscuit factory. He's just looking at me. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. But yeah, it's very funny. Because, like, so I've got 2 cats, and Milo is my younger of the 2. And she's extremely vocal. And she's very just, like, up in my business all the time. She's like, if she's not sleeping, she is in my business. And she wants to be all up in my business all the time, and she screams for attention, and she wants to be making biscuits with her sharp, sharp claws on my leg. Meanwhile, my other cat, Molly, is my older one. And her version... Okay, so I'll give you an example of how they wake me up in the morning. Molly, when she doesn't, like, actively try to wake me up, she'll just come into my bed and, like, fall asleep nestled right up next to me. So that she'll be alerted, so she'll feel it when I move to get out of bed. And so she's like, okay, as soon as the human makes a move to wake up in the morning, I will know because I am sleeping right next to her and I will feel her moving. And so I usually wake up with Molly, like, right next to me. Like, she is touching me. Like, she did that this morning. She does that most mornings. I wake up with a Molly next to me. Milo, on the other hand, is a loud, impatient little nightmare child. Who will pace around and jump on me and scream until I get out of bed. And if I lay in bed doom scrolling, she'll come and like lay down between my face and my phone. I'll like be waking up and I'm like checking my email and like looking at Discord messages I got overnight and all that shit, and Milo will literally just like lay down between my face and my phone and be like, pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. Which is very on character for her. She just scream. Don't you? Don't you just scream?
She just scream. She just scream.
She's very much a character.
Aren't you? Aren't you a character? Yeah? Hello. Want your butt pets? Oh my goodness! You want some butt pads? Some pat your butt? You get some kitty butt pads?
It's very funny, because I was just thinking the other day, like, there's a couple of very vocal cats that I see, like, videos of on, like, YouTube Shorts occasionally. I'm just like, Milo, you're so talkative. You would do huge numbers on social media, and she just screams at me. She's just like, meh! Meh!
Don't you? Don't you love to scream at me? Yes, you do. She loves to scream. She's very vocal. She has a lot of thoughts
About the current state of things. And by the current state of things, she obviously means the fact that I am drawing and not petting her instead.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah? Yeah? What do you think? What do you think?
You do such big numbers with your big screams. Yeah, chat heard you. That's what happens when you scream right into the microphone. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Baby. I hope you guys are enjoying Cat Stream. Because she is determined to be here. Be in my business.
She's in the business. Hi, babies. Hello, Blorbus.
If I start making... If I, like, make a separate account and just post cat pics, you guys all have to follow it. Just turn myself into a... I won't delete this channel, I'll just make a new channel that's just for posting pics of my cats.
Kitty pics. Hi, my lord. Hello. Hello.
Who's a baby cat?
Baby cat. Baby cat. Baby cat.
Like, I don't use Instagram anymore, but I feel like that would be easiest to do on Instagram.
But I hate Instagram. I don't like to use it.
Stopped using my Instagram account I guess earlier this year. I don't know. I guess, like, I'm not one of the types of people who, like, goes looking for, like, cute animal videos and stuff. I am blessed with them when they cross my path. Like, yes. A cute animal has crossed my path, my internet path this day. I am blessed. But I don't usually go, like, actively searching for silly cat videos or anything. I do enjoy them, though. They're very cute. I still hate how this one looks. Pull the ribbon.
Hello. Hello, Schnookums. Hello, Schnookums.
I realized a couple weeks ago, you guys know what Milo really likes. She really likes ear massages. She loves the ear massages. I just kind of like cup her face in my hands, and I just like rub her ears with my thumbs and fingers. She loves it. Got like her eyes closed, and she's just letting me do it, and she's just like, oh, hell yeah. She loves it. Dual wielding kitty cat ear massages. Oh, yes. She loves it so much. She's like making air biscuits, but she's barely moving. She's just a petit creatura. Little baby. My cat hates ear massages, but she lets me carry around the house with me. See, I kind of wish that my cats would be like shoulder cats, but they don't want to be shoulder cats. Whenever I pick, they don't like to be manhandled for long periods of time. They'll both let me hold them for a little bit, but they want autonomy. They don't want to be carried around. They want to walk on their own. Milo is one of those cats who, if I leave a room, she has to not only follow me into the next room, she has to beat me there. She has to beat me there. She's like, I don't know where we're going, but I'm running. I'm gonna get there first.
Aren't you? Yes.
Lady Tanya, thank you for the super chat. The world slash story I have is like 10 years old now. Heck yeah. Make that story. Now see, the trick is that you can't just get stuck in developing it. You gotta actually make it into something. That's the trick. I know a lot of people will get stuck in like only working on the world building for years and years and years and never actually do anything with it. You gotta do something with it. That's the trick.
Hello. What's she doing, Blorboblibus?
Milo, it's very hard to draw when you are pushing your little face up against my drawing hand. He's being very cute and loving right now. And I'm like, where was this energy when I was laying down and taking a headache nap earlier? Or when I was having an emotional talk with my therapist yesterday, and I wanted an emotional support cat, and neither you nor Molly would hang out with me. Where were you during elf practice? She just wants to be cuddly when it is the most inconvenient moment. Yeah, you do. You do. Getting called out on YouTube.com. Please stop talking about your cuddly cat. I'm getting jealous. I'm sorry. She's just... She always wants to come and bother me while I'm streaming. It's like if she hears me making noise, she is in the business. And it's hard not to comment on it when she is right there. Who needs shoulder cat when you have a shoulder Ariana? That is true. Ariana plushie is now available on Makeshift. Link in the pinned comment and at the top of the chat. Wow. Only 2 weeks left to get yourself an Ariana plushie? Whoa, that's crazy. That's crazy. Wink. Go get yourself an Ariana plushie. We're at 237 sold. Limited edition release. One of my favorite things to do when drawing are more drawing the very shiny highlights. Bringeth me joy. Oh man. You guys are here so you're contractually obligated to listen. I am now going to spend a few minutes ranting about my day. It wasn't that bad in retrospect, but like, okay. Do you guys ever have like specific plans for your day? Jared! Jared! They're at it again! My goodness! Jared Sadewater, thank you for the 50 gifted memberships. It's been a little bit. Howdy. What's happening? Welcome to the stream. Has to come in with a bang. We're going to be looking at that in the chat for a moment. If you got gifted a membership, make sure to say thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody duck. You want a membership or not? Anyway, what I was saying, we're just gonna watch the memberships go off for a little bit. But yeah, as I was saying, my Wednesdays. So Monday and Tuesday are usually my like assorted art and writing work days. And then my Wednesday, I've kind of turned into my chores and admin process day, which is, so I'll do the dishes, I'll do my laundry, I pack orders, I go to the post office, I pick up my groceries, I do any errands I need to do. That all happens on Wednesday. Because I like being able to give myself a little bit of a mental break from work, or like the actual like mentally draining part of my job, and just kind of do the, just do all the boring, tedious stuff all on the same day, as kind of like a break in my work week. And so that was gonna be today. I was gonna wake up, I was gonna pack orders, get my groceries, go to the post office, all this other stuff. Well, I just got hit with the 1, 2, 3 combo all at the same time. Because so I was, my Patreon mail club stickers are here, so I was also going to use this day to pack mail clubs, but I couldn't download the sheet that has all of my patrons' addresses on it, so I couldn't actually like print out the shipping labels. There's some kind of server glitch happening with Patreon, and it just was not letting me download everyone's addresses so I could label them and put them in the envelopes. I printed out all the postcards and I signed and I signed and numbered all of them and put them in bags, but I couldn't actually prepare to ship them out because Patreon wouldn't let me print out my mailing labels. And I was like, well, shit, that's throwing off like a chunk of my day, but it's okay. I can still do all this other stuff. And I have a wholesale order that I need to ship, and I ran out of some of my packaging materials for wholesale orders, and I was like, God damn it, now I have to order more, which means I'm not gonna be able to pack it today. And I said same day pickup from Office Depot, and they're still not ready. The order still says processing, and I'm like, I ordered same day pickup. It's gonna be like, I have to stream, and they're not gonna be ready yet. I'm gonna have to pack it tomorrow at the earliest. But tomorrow is working on my comic day. That's not order packing day. What the fuck? And it was just like, and then I was packing orders and I ran out of packing tape and I was like, God damn it. I only wanted to make one trip out to like the shopping areas today. But apparently now I have to make 2 because I have to go out. I have to drive to Walmart and then I have to get more packing tape, and then I have to go home and finish packing the orders that I can pack because freaking I can't access anything. And then I have to drive back to the post office, and Office Depot still doesn't have my business cards ready because I need those. I use them as backing cards for my acrylic pins when I sell stuff wholesale because it makes them look nicer on a shelf so that people will buy them. And I can't do any of the shit that I wanted to do today. It's like I packed orders, I went to the post office, and I did all that crap. I still did that, but because I waited too long to put in my grocery order, it wouldn't be available for pickup until like 5. And I'm like, well, I have to stream, okay? I'll pick up my groceries tomorrow morning. But now I'm gonna have to go out tomorrow morning, and I don't even know if my business cards for my wholesale order are gonna be ready by then. And I'm just like, why is today cursed? Why are you doing this to me? Threw off my whole day. This is the worst thing that has ever happened to me, ever in my life. No one has ever suffered as much as I have. Harumph! I want to be abundantly clear that I am joking. I'm joking for comedy purposes. I'm like, yeah, you threw off my groove. This whole fucking day threw off my groove, and I'm mad about it because Wednesday is supposed to be my hyper productivity day, and where I just get all of my shit done all at once, and it feels so good, and I was denied. I was denied my productivity day, and I'm so mad about it. I'm grumpy. very grumpy about it. Because tomorrow's the day I'm supposed to sketch comics. It's not the day that I'm supposed to do anything else. Tomorrow is comic sketching day. But now, tomorrow's gonna be doing all this other shit Thursday. Because I wasn't able to get it done on Wednesday. Because Wednesday hates me. You have such a hard life. I do! I do! Harumph. Milo, you better not be committing crimes. Hey! Is that the sound of crimes? Is that the auditory sensation of criminal activity? Okay, at least you're in the empty box. You're not in the box that still has books in it. That is acceptable. Not crimes, but adjacent to crimes. I've got a bunch of boxes in my living room from book shipments that I need to collapse, and I haven't yet because the kitties have been playing in them. I thought she was in a box that still had books in it, and I was worried she was gonna mess up the merchandise. But she wasn't. She was in an empty box, which is legal. She's allowed. Whoa there, Frankie Bot. Frankie Bot's going crazy. Yeah, I'm excited. I've got a con this weekend. I'm gonna hang out with one of my art and streamer friends. I'm very excited. Yippee-ki-yay! I'm gonna spend way too much money in the artist alley, probably. Yippee-ki-yay! As you guys know, I got really into journaling this year, and so basically every time I go to a convention artist alley, it is just an excuse for me to purchase stickers. Purchasing stickers. Which streamer friend? I kind of don't want to say because I don't know if they're open about their location. And seeing as this is like a very small con, it would kind of out the general area where they live, and I don't want to do that. But we've been talking about comics and horse game a lot recently. And I'm just like, yay! Friends I can hang out with in real life! Yippee! Friends who are in my same shit that I'm in. Let's fucking go! I was whinging about this to my therapist yesterday and also on Blue Sky, is that for a person who is as anxious as I am, you wouldn't think that I'd be just like an impeccable public speaker, but I have like a lot of people are, you know, scared of public speaking. I am not. I am not one of those people. I kind of thrive in front of a crowd. It's one of the reasons why I think I'm not really, like, streaming doesn't necessarily really make me nervous. But, like, you could just stick me up in front of an audience of people and I'll have the best fucking time. I'll be chilling, be hanging out. It's like, in another life I was the class clown in high school, but I was far too introverted for that. But you tell me that I can get a free badge to an anime convention and don't have to spend like $50 to $70 to go shopping on a weekend? And yeah, I'll yell at strangers for an hour. Hell yeah, it's easy shit. That's easy peasy shit. And so I was telling, my therapist asked me, because, you know, we were talking about this con that I'm going to, and she's like, how are you with public speaking, actually? And I was like, oh, I'm pretty decent at public speaking, actually. I'm not really scared of it at all. And yet, I can get in front of a crowd of, like, upwards of hundreds of people sometimes. Like, I could do that and not be nervous at all. You put me in a one-on-one conversation with someone I don't know very well, and I shrivel into a fucking introverted husk. And I'm like, God damn it, brain, one of these things happens way more frequently than the other. Can you just be normal talking to people that you are, like, mildly acquainted with, who have the same interests and hobbies as you? Because you need more friends who have the same interests and hobbies as you, and if you never reach out to any of them, they're not going to be better friends, and you're not going to get to hang out with them as much. And then my brain's just like, yeah, but getting to know people one-on-one is scary. And what if they hate me, actually? And I'm just like, shut up, you suck! Like, can I reallocate my skill points, please? And God's just like, no. Deal with what you're dealt, stupid. So that's what I'm dealing with. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I was talking about this on Blue Sky recently, and a couple people commented on my going live post on Blue Sky talking about how YouTube has like weird age verification now, and I am waiting to see how much that affects things before I make any big moves. I'm gonna see how badly that fucks shit up before I do anything. But if it gets to a point where it is too annoying for folks, and also I was thinking about potentially doing this anyway, is there's part of me, a very small part, but there is part of me that has been thinking about going back to multi-streaming on Twitch for the sheer purpose of I feel like the streaming community is more active on Twitch, and I miss being able to, like, raid people. And I feel like streaming is a lot more isolated on YouTube. But I would like to make some streamer friends. And I think that would be easier to do on Twitch, just because there's more people who stream over there. I'm gonna admit, I'll get vulnerable here for a minute, and I see, you know, like, big VTubers who have a lot of friends, and they're, like, constantly collabing and, like, doing other stuff, and I do get a little bit jealous of that. I'm like, aw, I wish I could have that. I'm just like, how do you make friends? I want to, like, try and get in other people's orbits more, so we can hang out and be friends and be chilling, whatever. Let me work my way into people's hearts by just raiding them on Twitch a lot. But it's like, I like streaming on YouTube because I feel like my audience is here. But there is part of me that's considered going back to Twitch. I'll still stream on YouTube, but there's part of me that wants to start multi-streaming on Twitch now as well. Just for the added, like, I sound so clinical, but I don't know a better word for it. The added networking. Networking in the sense of just, like, I am meeting people, I am making friends in my same, like, kind of demographic. People who have similar interests. So that maybe we could, I don't know, just stream together sometime, maybe, or just, like, talk shit, I don't know. I think multi-streaming would be fine. Well, okay, so, like, I don't have a problem with multi-streaming necessarily. I do have beef with Twitch, though. I have several beefs with Twitch. It's the reason I don't stream there anymore anyway. It's because, like, people are griping on YouTube for their age verification bullshit, but, like, Twitch isn't much better in terms of doing shitty things that are bad for their audience. And also for, you know, the people who stream on the platform. Like, Twitch does have some better interactivity features, yes, but also they take a way higher percentage of the money that you earn through the platform. They force ads on you. Like, you can't not have ads if you stream on Twitch. On YouTube, I can choose when I play ads, and I usually choose don't play ads at all. At least when I'm live. Like, if you're watching the VOD, then I'll stick some ads on there. But if you're watching me live, like, I'm not gonna make you sit through ads unless I, like, go to the bathroom or something. But I just have a lot of beefs with Twitch, and it's the reason why I quit using the platform anyway. But now there, I will admit, is a part of me that is having a wee bit of FOMO, just because I'm like... Actually, it's not FOMO, it's FOMF. Fear of missing friendships. It's like, I could be making... I feel like I'm gonna be able to make friends easier on that platform, but I don't know. Is it worth it? Because Twitch sucks, and I hate Twitch. I'm so grumpy about Twitch because I have beef. And also, it's owned by Amazon, and fuck Amazon and Beth Bezos and his fucking dollars. I hate him. Fuck you. If you choose not to use ads, then why did I get a minute-long ad at the beginning stream? Because you weren't missing anything, and YouTube is usually like, hey, that would be a good time to play ads. And I'm like, okay, I'll play one while it's in the starting soon screen so that you shut up. Because I was like running around and I was going to the bathroom and I was getting water and everything. And I'm like, no, I'll play an ad during the starting soon screen. It's not a big deal. But Twitch pretty much forces you to play ads, like 3 minutes of ads an hour. And that is ridiculous. Yeah, forced mid-roll ads. And I hate it because it's like, I want to post ads when I want to, Twitch. I don't care about my live stream revenue. Don't force my viewers to watch ads. And that's the main reason I stopped using the platform. But we'll see. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the whole, like, YouTube age verification shenaniganery. And if it does start to interfere too much, then we'll see about multi-streaming on Twitch as well. I'm not going to stop streaming on YouTube, but we can see if changes need to be made, then we will adjust. But I'm not going to commit to anything just yet. I want to lay low and see how things are looking for like the next couple days, couple weeks. And if changes need to be made, then I will make them. But I'm not going to jump headfirst into multi-streaming again because I don't want to do Twitch if I don't have to. I have so many beef. I have many beefs. Can you choose where you put the ad in a stream? Yeah, so on YouTube at least. On Twitch, you either play 3 minutes of ads every hour when you want to, or Twitch will just put in ads whenever the fuck they feel like it. And I fucking hate it because 3 minutes of every hour, that's so many ads. Like, what the hell? But on YouTube, YouTube's like, hey, do you want to play an ad? You could do that. There's like a button at the top of my YouTube control panel that's just like the play ads button. And I just never push it because I don't want to make you guys watch ads. There's ads on the VOD, but I'm not going to make people sit through ads if they're watching me live because I don't want people to miss stuff. If you're watching the VODs, then the ads will just pause the video and it's not that big of a deal. But I don't want people to have to miss me doing stuff live because of stupid ads. I might play an ad like if I go to the bathroom or something, but aside from that, I don't do it. I feel like I've been sitting at my desk too much lately. I've got like it doesn't feel like a pinched nerve, it just feels like I've got like a muscle cramp in my back or something. Making my back hurt. Woman in her 30s complains about back pain. What the fuck else is new? Chat, don't call me old or I'll ban you. Do you have set streaming days? Sometimes. I used to have a more set schedule with streams. And I don't anymore. Because I haven't been streaming as much because I'm tired. But usually if I stream, it's Monday, Wednesday. Or occasionally Friday. And I've recently been doing like Sunday morning game streams because that time slot works well for me. And since it's not work, it means I can do it on my weekend. We actually just finished playing Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma, and not this week, but next week, we're going to start the new Somnium Files game. I asked in a community tab poll if people wanted to like switch to maybe Friday evening streams, and they said no, keep the Monday or the Sunday morning gaming. And I'm like, okay, Sunday morning gaming it is. But yeah, not as many people come to my game streams, but honestly, I don't care. I like doing them. And there was a time in the past where it really bothered me that not as many people came to my game streams. It was very disheartening and it made me sad. Now I don't give a shit. Chat's way easier to read when there's fewer people in it. And so I'm okay with it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Only the true fans come to my game streams. And I'm okay with that because it means that chat's easier to keep track of. Chat's easier to read when there's fewer people.
Okay, bye, Milo. She did the baby. Now she's over in defensive low position.
Ooh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. OBS. OBS, did you fart? I think OBS farted. Sorry about that, gamers. It says it's reconnected. OBS had a little fart. I got a pop-up that said it disconnected, but we're back. We're all good. Sorry about that, gamers. OBS had a little moment, but we're back. Anyway, so the idea about Vesper is she's supposed to resemble Verity a little bit because Verity's like her idol. She wants to be like Verity so bad, but also their personalities are very different. Vesper is more like pink and bubbly and perky and has big main character energy, and she's just so cute and I love her. Meanwhile, Verity's a lot more reserved. It's like she's friendly, but she's also like a little bit quieter. She's not as outgoing. And so their designs kind of reflect that about them. And so like Vesper is like very pink, very girly. She's very feminine, like feminine, girly, cutie cute. And so my idea with her is that she's supposed to look like the perfect ideal of like the princess knight. It's like she wants to be a knight just like Verity, but she's kind of putting her own spin on it. Verity was very much like, I will wear the heaviest armor imaginable because it's like my safety blanket. And Vesper's like, I want to wear armor so bad, but it's really heavy and it limits my mobility, so I'm just gonna wear like as little as possible while still wearing as much as possible. Keeping it on the lower armor end, the lighter end. And we love her. Enough armor to keep the vibes. Yeah! So she's got a little breastplate, she's got pauldron, she's got some hip armor, and she's got a little bit of armor on her shoes, and she's got like little gauntlets, but that's about it. And then the rest of her is a little bit more flexible. I debated giving her chainmail, but I ended up not, because I felt like chainmail gets really heavy. And I feel like she's not a chainmail girly. I feel like if and when she gets her own novel, a big part of her story is gonna be like learning how to be her own best self and not just like copying other people. Because like in the beginning she wants to be just like Verity, and so she tries fighting with like a sword and a huge shield, but she doesn't have enough muscle to like really wield the shield very effectively, and it means that she can't use her own magic very effectively because it's so heavy. She can't like move around as much as she would normally, because like she has wind powers, it helps her move around, it helps her like jump really high, and like she's extremely mobile, but she's trying to adapt to a fighting style that kind of takes away all of the good things that she has going for her. She's basically like playing with a build that doesn't match her skill set. And so kind of towards the beginning of her story, one of the things she figures out is like, I kind of have to figure out how to do this my own way. It's like, I want to keep the stuff that I love and I want to be just like this person, but the imitation is kind of holding me back. As a medieval fan, the fact that you're saying armor is super heavy hurts my soul so much. It's heavy compared to, like, normal clothes. Because, like, okay, she's a character who has, you know, like, wind-based abilities that she uses to, like, jump around and make herself go really fast and do all this other stuff. Any additional weight that she has to put on is going to limit her mobility significantly. And so it's like, even if armor doesn't weigh, like, 10,000 pounds... it's still, you know, metal, and she's got, like, a weapon and stuff, too. And especially in the beginning, she was wearing much heavier armor. Before she really, like, kind of figured out a happy medium. And so she was, like, wearing armor that doesn't really work for her. And she eventually figures out, it's like, oh, I could wear something a little bit lighter and low-tech. And I don't lose my mobility, but I still have that little bit more of a protection. Is kind of what I'm saying. Full on, it's around 20 to 30 kilos, so yeah, it's kind of heavy. Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like, she usually would just wear, like, a shirt and a skirt that's... suddenly adding a full suit of armor on top of that is a big change that she has to adapt to, and she tries and it doesn't go well. Can someone just shoot her in the legs? Well, there's no guns in this fantasy world, so jot that down. But if like ranged attacks in like, you know, say like a fantasy fighting setting is anything like how, okay, I'm gonna have a Texas moment here. If it's anything like how I was taught when I was like, when my dad was teaching me how to use a gun for the first time, it's that if you're trying to shoot at somebody, you don't shoot at the head, you aim for the chest, cause it moves the least and it's the easiest spot to hit. So I feel like people aren't going to be aiming at her legs terribly often. Exactly, Milo. Thank you.
She's a baby.
But yeah, also, Vesper's fighting style is very much just like jump. She kind of... Okay, this is maybe a wild comparison to make. Have you guys ever played Smash Bros. Against a person who just plays Kirby and does the down B attack? Where they turn into a rock and just fall on you? And they just do that over and over and over again, and it's really annoying because there's no real, like, good defense against it if you're, like, a novice player. That's how Vesper fights. She jumps really high, and then she does, like, downward stabs with her big-ass spear. That's how she fights. And so I feel like, you know, her legs are not going to be targeted very often. She's not going to spend a whole lot of time on the ground. God, now that I'm thinking about it, she would love Kirby. She'd probably play as Kirby. Hey, don't step on my computer. You accidentally turned it off the other day, and I don't need my stream crashing. But yeah, so Vesper's fighting style is literally, she just uses her wind powers to jump really high, and then she, like, slams down on whatever she's fighting with her big-ass spear. She has a spear because she's very short and she has little arms, and spear has the best reach. And I learned that from one casual Reddit search a couple days ago. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of fun with her as a character. And it's funny to me how she was originally planned to be a character in the eventual Verity novel, and I just fell so in. She Kool-Aid manned her way into my heart, and now I'm just like, she needs her own story. I don't know what I'm gonna do to give her her own story, but I feel like it needs to happen at some point. Ugh. She's just a little baby, and she's very perky, and I love her very much. She's perky baby. The other two characters I'm going to be drawing for this video, I'm not sure if they're going to end up being, like, the party if Vesper ever gets her own novel. But they are definitely characters in her, like, orbit of her story. So, Senna, the snow leopard girl, this one, is like a little bit of a mentor figure in the way that like a younger teen will latch onto somebody who's like an older teen. Because like Vesper at the time of her own story. Okay, so when Vesper is in the Verity novel, she's gonna be in like her late teens probably. She'd be like 16 or 17-ish. But if she gets her own story, a Vesper novel, she'd be a little bit younger, because that's supposed to be a prequel to the Verity novel is the idea that I have. And so she'd be like 13, 14, 15, somewhere around that range. And Senna, the snow leopard girl, is a like traveling merchant that she befriends. And Senna's like, she's part of a family of traveling merchants who occasionally come through. Like Vesper lives in like this big town in the mountains. And she's kind of like royalty in that town, and so she doesn't get out much. And whenever she like goes to talk to somebody, they always kind of like treat her with reverence, but she's not a huge fan because she's just like, I just want to be casual and like make friends with people, but everyone always treats me like a big deal. Milo, can you like not knock things off my table, please? Here. Be a menace. Bring it now. No menaces, please. Ugh. And so she meets Senna by chance because her family is like, Vesper City is like on her route, essentially. And so she occasionally like travels through, doesn't realize that Vesper's kind of a princess at first and just kind of treats her like a normal person. Vesper's like, oh, you're cool. You're so cool. You get to travel around and do all this stuff, and you get to fight, and you get to do all these cool things, and you're like a caravan guard. That's so cool. I wish I could do that too. I want to fight, but my family won't let me because there are a bunch of sticks in the mud. And Senna's just like this kind of stick it to the man, like, punk teen. She's like 19 or something like that. And she's like one of the cool kids who like hangs out behind the gym after school and does all this other stuff. And she's just like, she's super cool. And Vesper's like, you're so cool. I'm gonna hang around you forever. And so Senna is actually the one who teaches Vesper how to fight. And cause like Vesper goes and she like sneaks a sword and shield from the town armory when no one's looking. And she tries to use it, and Senna's like, wow, you're really bad at that. Here, try this instead. And she's got like a staff that she uses, that's just like for defense. So Vesper tries using that, and she's like, or Senna says, okay, look, I don't know how to use a sword and shield, but that thing is clearly like too heavy for you, and I don't know how to teach you how to do it better. If you learn how to use the staff, you can learn how to use a spear. So take this. Also, you're tiny. It has better reach. It's probably a better weapon for you anyway. And so she just like kind of casually starts teaching Vesper some like basic fighting techniques. And it's the type of thing where like Senna will be in town for 2 or 3 days, and then she's gone for like a month because she's just kind of got a route that she goes around. And And she's like, okay, I'll be back in town in like 3 weeks. Master this technique when I get back, and I'm gonna quiz you on it when I get home. This will be on the quiz, so make sure you study, and I'll be back in a month, and I'll test and see if you figured it out or not. And so it just gets to a point where every month Senna will come back because her family like does business in town, and Senna's like, okay, you've mastered that? All right, I'll teach you another thing. And then she leaves for a month, and then when she comes back, Vesper's like, I did it, let's go sparring, let's do all this. And so that's kind of how Vesper learns combat, is she just picks it up from this aggravated teen who picks up, like, this little this little baby teenager who thinks that she's the coolest. And Senna's like, yeah, I kind of am the coolest, you know? I am pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna hit you with a spear now. Kind of, it's like a little bit of a big sister, little sister, relationship, and it's very cute. And I just know that, like, eventually what happens is that Vesper kind of gets fed up because she wants to be a knight. She wants to help protect people, but her family is very overprotective for a couple of different reasons that I'm not going to go into because it's spoilers. But her family is very protective, and they don't want her to be a knight. They're like, listen, she can take lessons with the town guard just for self-defense, but we're not going to actually, like, let her go out into the universe and be a knight. That's ridiculous. She's going to get herself killed. We can't have that. And so at some point, what I'm thinking happens. This is subject to change because, again, this is like me thinking loosely about things that could happen in a hypothetical novel further down the road, is that Vesper eventually gets fed up with it, and she runs away to, like, a town a few days away and joins, like, this like, guard organization that her grandpa started. And she's like, I'm gonna use a fake name so that they won't figure me out immediately. And, I mean, listen, I know my parents say that they can't trust me, but surely they can trust the, like, knight, or, like, the Knights Guild that my family founded. So surely if they're gonna let me do this, it's gonna be with the organization that they started. Surely this plan has no flaws. Eventually, Senna finds her and is like, dude, your fucking family thinks that I talked you into running away. What the hell? What the hell? And then there's, like, a whole thing that happens after that. But again, this is all just me just kind of casually thinking. I don't have anything set in stone yet. I don't have, like, a super solid idea of what I want her novel to look like. This is just me, like, brainstorming scenes that may or may not be in an eventual future novel that may or may not actually get written. We're just playing in the soup right now. We're playing in the soup. And then Cameron comes into the story at some point and has similar goals to Vesper. She's just like, Vesper's very, I want people to take me seriously, and I don't want to just cruise on, like, the notoriety of my family name. I want to actually get out there and do something, and I want to be good at it, and I want to get recognized for doing things that I am good at. Cameron, meanwhile, is like, I want to prove myself, and I want, like, to actually be good at the things I want to be good at, and I don't want to let this, like, not curse that I have define who I am forever. And I don't want to bring shame to my family name, and just, like, all this other stuff, so it's just, like, a bunch of babies seeking validation going on an adventure. And they're just my little blorboblebuses. Also, this will mean something to some people, is that, so I mentioned that Vesper is one of Rodin's, like, adopted grandkids. Cameron is a distant descendant of, Mira and Darius. So there's your fun fact. Teehee. I just love to make characters who are related to my other characters. Let's go, it's fun for me. Bee 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 bee. And I like yapping while I ink. That's another thing I like. the lore implications are off the charts. Yeah! I love implications. Because, like, okay, the thing is that, you know, it's going to be one of those things where you don't have to be familiar with the other characters. But the Vesper novel, like the Vesper Cameron Senna novel, would be a prequel to the eventual Verity novel. And so the idea is, like, if you read that one first, you, like, learn about all these characters as historical figures, but then you actually get the story about them and you learn a little bit more about them. It's like, okay, here's a book about Shakespeare, and now here's a book from Shakespeare's perspective, but it takes place after that first one. And that's weird. I don't know. I just like my blorbos, and I like coming up with characters, and I like putting them in situations, and I need to figure out the situation for the Vesper novel desperately so that I can continue writing it. Sneef, sneef. Because right now it's just like a loose bunch of like characters and concepts floating around in my head. If and when I do the Vesper novel, I think I want it to be a little bit more YA than the Verity novel and the Lapis novel will be. Because both of those stories are going to be a little bit darker. They're going to be like a new adult fantasy. Because it is going to be dealing with some darker themes. It's not really like a kid's story necessarily. But if I do a Vesper one, because of the age the characters will be in that story, I'm thinking I want the tone to be a little bit lighter. I want it to be a little bit more YA. Like actual YA, not like the new, like, YA that everyone's just like, oh yeah, just put it in YA and it'll sell better, but it's like not a kid's story really. Like an actual, you know, like fun romp fantasy story for like teens. So I want to put these kids in a situation. I just haven't figured out what kind of situation I'm gonna put them in yet. But once I do, it's gonna be over for all y'all. And just for the record, all of these I'm planning on doing self-published. I've actually started watching, like, writers' vlogs from people who are doing, like, the traditional publishing querying process and all that. And while I do think that would be nice eventually, I think what I would love to do is have a book that's successful self-published that then gets picked up by a publisher so that I don't have to distribute it myself. Because I don't want to go through, like, the whole process of querying and stuff. It sounds like a pain. What if I just, like, write a book that's really good self-published and then get picked up by a publisher? That feels like it would be easier. I don't know. Maybe that's kind of a, like, ignorant/arrogant thing to say. I don't actually know that much about the process of doing all that just because it hasn't been something that's really interested in me. But I would love to be able to, you know, like, go into a Barnes & Noble and see my books in there. I think that would be cool. I mean, it's happened before. That's what happened with, what's it called? Legends and Lattes? I know a lot of people cite that. But I mean, I've had a publisher reach out that wanted to take over distribution for How to Webcomic. But they ghosted me for 6 months, and in those 6 months, selling these books became like a huge part of my income. So when they came circling back around, I was like, nah, I'm good, actually. I'm making way more money selling them myself. But the thing is that doing all the distribution myself has kind of started to wear on me a little bit. And so there is part of me that, for How to Webcomic specifically, I kind of want to, like, find an agent to, like, get it picked up by a publisher so that, like, that one could get used. And, like, distributed for, like, traditional publishing. My biggest fear and concern there, though, is that I suddenly would not be making as much money on the books. because, like, how to webcomic is such a huge part of my income now that I worry that if I went the traditional publishing route, I'd lose a lot of income from it. You know? That's kind of the fear. And I feel like I want to talk to some folks in traditional publishing before I come up to a conclusion on that. But it is something that, like, kind of keeps tinkling around in the back of my head. And it's also kind of weird because, like, how to webcomic is not a graphic novel. It's an educational book. And all of the advice I hear about, like, querying and getting agents and stuff, just because of the circles I run in, all the advice I've heard is for, like, pitching a graphic novel or pitching an actual novel. I don't know how to pitch a how-to book. Where do I even start with that, you know? I feel like the process there would be really different. Is like, do I query graphic novel agents and pray? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how that works. Tricky. It's like, I do think it might be fun to, you know, like, try and go the traditional publishing route for some of my, like, novels. I'm not sure if I want to go that route for Cast Off, just because I want to maintain creative freedom over that project. I want to be able to do it like I want to do it. I feel like if a publisher came to me and said, we love your vision and we want to, like, help you make this the best it can be, but we're not going to, like, put a limit on, like, how many books you make and all this other sort of stuff. Like, I know people who have, like, made webcomics that then got picked up for publication. And they have really positive things to say about that whole experience, but they also had, like, really good people fighting for their rights as the writer in that instance. And also it helped that the comic was basically already finished by that point. Cast Off, I still have several more years to go. Mm-hmm. Okay. The easiest way to draw something like a tail or like a wire or something that has to stay the same thickness all the way around, rather than trying to draw parallel lines and screaming, what you can do, digital art at the very least, is you can draw the shape. Come on now. You can draw the shape in white, like so. Maybe one of these days I will get the shape just right. There we go. That looks good. Yep. Put an outline around it. Trying to get the shape of this tail looking just so. That looks good. So we draw it in white, and we erase some of the fiddly bits from my mistakes. We erase the signs of mistakes so no one knows that we made mistakes. We rasterize that layer, and we convert brightness to opacity. Boom jams. Easy beans. Now we can just adjust it, make it blend in with everything else. That is a Clip Studio Paint hack, by the way. I don't know how to do that in other programs. Anything that will let you do a stroke around a line, you should be able to do it. So Clip Studio Paint. I don't know if Procreate lets you do it necessarily. What the heck? Area scaling, there we go. Okay. Getting there. I think the line art's a little bit too thick around this, so we're gonna thin that out just a smidgen. I love my thick line art, but sometimes it goes a little bit too hard. Because Vesper is just a big, cute, magical girl aesthetic little baby. Yes, she absolutely ties a bow around her tail. And it is adorable. Thanks for asking. She's just a fluffy baby, and she's very cute. Very cutesy, and she just wants to be a hero. And she's gonna be girly and cute about it. Almost done with the line art. And it's only been an hour and a half. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Might actually have time to color this on stream as well. Love that for me. She's a cute little baby and she's got a big cape. Because Verity had a big cape, you see. She was like, if Verity has one, then I want one too. I don't know. Is it cringe of me to make a character who's a huge fan of one of my other characters? Xander Fernandez, thank you for the super chat. Star, if you end up making a winged character, please, I beg of you, make their arms their wings. I don't have any winged characters on the docket. But I don't know. I make characters how I want to make characters. I'm personally a fan of characters with wings and also arms. That's just like a me thing. That's what I like. I like characters who are like kind of angel-y. I am brainstorming like a character ancestry that has like hard light wings, kind of Tales of Symphonia-esque. But yeah. One of my D&D characters is named Vesper, so it's throwing me for a loop every time you say her name. Vesper, 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 Vesper. We do not support cringe culture here. It's not cringe, it's realistic. Cringe culture is dead. Fair enough, yes. I don't know. There's a part of me that's like... Is it... I guess maybe not cringe, but it's like, is it narcissistic to have a character that I made based on, like, kind of based on elements of me, and then have another character who's like a huge fan of that character. Is that tooting my own horn too much? Is that me saying, like, as the author, is like, oh, I made a character who's like a super fan of this author self-insert. It's like, because I think I'm so heckin' great. I don't know. I don't think it's something I really need to be concerned about. But, you know, my brain can be an asshole sometimes. I think it's adorable and she's a bit of a fangirl who just wants to be as cool as her hero. That's the vibe I'm going for, yeah. Is she just wants to be a hero so bad, and she wants to help people, and she wants to have like songs and stories written about her, just like people wrote about Verity. And she's just like, that's so cool. And I'm related to this person, not by blood, but you know, like sort of. I have her last name, and like we're carrying on the her legacy, and that's super duper cool, and I want to be just like her. But my stupid grandpa won't let me go out and fight. What the heck? Because he's like, I don't know, emotionally traumatized because of how Verity died. And so he won't let me go out and fight things. Even though like an important part of our family history is carrying on the legacy of this person who died honorably in battle, but he won't even let me have a chance to do that. Is the cape part of the Verity fan elements? Does that work against her in practice? Like she jumps around and gets caught everywhere. Quite the opposite, actually. She uses it. She like grabs the tails of it and she uses it a bit like a parachute sometimes. I like to think that a character with wind powers has control over what their cape does. That's just me personally. She wants the cape. Oh, also, it's not gonna show up in this artwork, but I did do some art the other day that I thought of because I thought it was cute. I have to scroll past everyone doing tic-tac-toe on Ariana's forehead. Where the heck is that art that I drew? Did I post? I had to post it in here. Did I post it? Yeah, I posted it. Okay, it's in a different channel. New from clipboard. This is a page from my sketchbook. And so she has little wings that she sewed onto the back of her cape, and she did it herself. So like, okay, originally I just drew these badly, but I'm thinking, no. She stitched them on poorly because she doesn't know how to sew, and so they're a little bit lopsided, but she's like a kid making her very first cosplay, and she's so in love with it, even though it's a little bit scuffed. And she's just a baby. She's just a baby. And she's like falls asleep reading her Tales of Verity book every night, and she's so fucking cute. I love her. I love her so much. I love her like my own child. She's a teeny tiny baby. And she has little hand-sewn wings on the back of her cape. She's adorable, chat. I love her. She's so proud of herself. She put wings on her cape because she thought they were cool. She's just a baby. And I'm gonna put her in a situation. I don't know what kind yet. But at some point, that little baby's getting thrown into a situation. I'm kind of like, here, you know what, chat? Y'all get to be my rubber ducks for a few minutes. Because just yapping about story ideas is how I came up with the idea for Azure Mirage in the first place. And while Vesper's not going to be in that I almost called it a comic. It's not going to be a comic, it's a novel. While Vesper is not going to be in the Lapis story, she will eventually, like, have her own. And just yapping to people is how I came up with the Lapis story idea. So allow me to yap at y'all. Yes, quack in chat for me, chat. My thing right now is Vesper's thing is that so Vesper just really wants to make a mark on the world. She wants to, like, in a selfish kind of way, she wants to leave a mark on the world. She wants to help people, but she also wants to be known for being very good at this thing that she cares a lot about doing. Because, you know, like, Verity has, like, all these books and songs written about her, and I think that Vesper would also really want, like, books and songs written about her. It's like how, you know, an artist coming up with a story would want, like, fan art of their characters. Vesper's like, I want to be really good at this and I want to help people, but I also would love to have songs written about me. Not because, like, for selfish reasons, I just think it would be really cool to be acknowledged. Because the thing with Vesper is that... So... when Roden dies eventually, her older sister is going to be the one who inherits everything. And Vesper's like okay with that, but it does mean that she's kind of had less focus. She's the younger daughter. She's not actually going to inherit anything. And so she's like, yeah, I could, you know, just like cruise on my family name and just like kind of do nothing for the rest of my life, but that's boring, and I want to be a knight and I want to help people and I want to be like famous. I kind of want to do that. And so her whole thing is that she wants to be a knight super duper badly. She wants to be just like Verity, but Roden is like super protective of her, and so is the rest of her family for various reasons. Like there is danger actively for members of her family. That I'm not going to go into because it's spoilers, but there is like active danger of like, you know, she comes from a very notable family. There are people who want them dead. And so the spare instead of the heir. Yeah, basically. It's like her family tries really hard not to treat it like that. But Vesper does feel it in that like, you know, she doesn't get as much attention. She doesn't get as much, like, acknowledgement. And she's just like, I want to do something for myself, and I want people to look at me and say, wow, that's Vesper, the super cool knight, and not, hey, there's Vesper, the younger daughter of this family who doesn't actually do anything. And so, you know, like, even though there's this danger to her family and there's, like, this stuff that she could get potentially wrapped up into if she ever leaves the city, she's very well protected in the city she lives in, but she wants to make a name for herself. She wants to go out there and do stuff and be, like, do something that's going to leave a positive impact on the world. Oops. And so what I'm thinking is, you know, she meets Senna, she learns a little bit about how to fight, and at some point she just gets fed up, like she has a fight with Roden or something, and she ends up running away. And she doesn't go far, but she goes far enough. She, like, is out in the woods for a couple days before she eventually finds, like, this town. And this town happens to have a branch of the guard organization, the Warders, that, like, Roden and Co. started years and years and years ago. And so she's like, I just won't tell. They would know my name, so I'm gonna make up a fake name and tell them that, and then I'm gonna get them to train me to be a knight. This will go perfectly. Nothing could possibly go wrong with this plan. She gets found out, like, immediately. But she basically says is like, I'm not coming home. You can't make me. And her family is eventually like, ugh, okay, fine. Stay there. Don't go out into the fucking wilderness or anything. Just, like, stay. If you're going to be difficult about this, then fine. You can stay there and train. And when it's too tough and you get tired, you come back. Or you let us know and we'll send someone to come get you. And she's like, that's never gonna happen. So she starts training and it kicks her ass. Like, she's not prepared for it. And so my idea is that she just, you know, she kind of hangs out, like, doing basic training, but she kind of gets a little bit complacent doing that because the area that she's in does not have a lot of, like, monster activity. Not a lot happens. And she's just like, okay, I'm learning how to do this stuff, but I feel like I'm not much closer to my end goal. And so I'm thinking that at some point, something happens, that she's like, this is my I'm going to sneak off and I'm going to retrieve this item that was stolen, or I'm going to go find the monster that just, like, attacked our camp and I'm gonna take care of it myself, that other people can't do for a reason. or something, and she like takes it upon herself. I'm kind of thinking the vibe would be a little bit first Percy Jackson book, because like before everybody freaks out, I was the target demographic of those books when they were first coming out. Like I was a teenager when Percy Jackson first started coming out. I devoured those fucking books. I loved them so much. But like the first book where it's like, okay, yeah, the lightning thief. A thing gets stolen and they go on a quest to get it back. That's kind of the vibe I think that would be interesting for a Vesper story, is like maybe some artifact gets stolen and they have to go on an adventure to get it back, is kind of what I'm leaning towards. I'm thinking like maybe it's an artifact that's important to her family. Maybe it's something that belonged to Verity. I'm not sure yet. I've been thinking, I have thoughts, nothing set in stone yet. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. I'm not quite sure. I'm still waffling a little bit about it. But I know that if and when she goes on her capital Q quest, Cameron and Senna would probably be the team that she goes with. Potentially adding one more person, but shrug. Like, I don't even know what situation they're getting themselves into. I haven't thought that far. I've just been kind of making up characters for fun at this point. But yeah, so that's kind of what I've got right now. Again, it's still very back burner, very like, I'll throw something in that stew pot and I'll see what happens, but I'm not like super... It's a watch pot right now, basically. I'm like, this will be something eventually. I hope. I don't know what yet. And so for right now, I'm just kind of focusing on the Lapis novel, because the Lapis novel, I know exactly what I want to do with that one. It's like, the Lapis novel, I have basically the entire plot, like, outlined in my head. It's a very rough, loose outline, but I know approximately how it's going to end. I have an idea for like the beginning and the setup and some of the events down the road. I have a general idea of a lot of stuff for the Lapis novel, and so that one's taking priority in my brain right now, because I feel like that one's a little bit more like isolated. Like the Lapis novel is going to be kind of a standalone, whereas the Vesper and Verity novels are kind of like an unaffiliated series. Like, you don't have to read them in order, but you'll get more out of it if you, like, read them both, kind of thing. I'm excited to see more, hear more as you figure things out. Yeah, I like yapping about this stuff to y'all, because y'all are nice to me. And also, it's just fun to talk about my characters. I like to come on here and yap. Oh, I forgot to color her tail in. Oops. I like to come on the internet and yap about my OCs. That's what we do on this channel. And I'm glad that folks seem to be along for the ride. Because there's part of me that's like, my channel would grow so much faster and I'd get much bigger number on YouTube if I just fed into what people like have a tendency to watch. Like, I could go full tutorial channel. I could just make designing characters videos all the time. I could do what the algorithm wants me to do, but I just kind of want to talk about my characters, man. I like hearing about the process because I'm having such a time making plot heaven now that I have a who and where. Yeah, exactly, right? It's just, for me, I could crank out characters every single fucking day of my life, but kind of trying to figure out the situations I want to put those characters in tends to be a little bit more complicated, you know? And I am glad that you guys are enjoying coming along for the ride. I think I said this on the last stream, but there is part of me that feels like I kind of jumped the gun making merch for my book that I haven't really even started writing yet. Because I've made some merch for Azure Mirage. I made sticker sheets with the characters because I thought it would be cute. But I just really wanted those to exist. And I'm excited about it because I think it's cute. I've got a document open that I'm referencing all my colors from. She reminds me of Madoka, but medieval. I did take a lot of inspiration from Madoka when designing this outfit. It's mostly, I'm sure, like the pink and the pigtails, but also it's like I did kind of take inspiration from Madoka for like the shape of the skirt, kind of. Like the little petals. I want to talk about my characters and do the story, but I'm scared because there are so many options to go about it. Well, you know what the worst option is? Never doing it at all. Makes you think, don't it? Like, you can try things and then change your mind later. You're not working for a publisher. You're just doing this for fun. So have fun with it. Do what's gonna make you happiest in the moment. And, like, if you decide you don't like it, you can stop and you can pivot. If you're not getting paid for it, you are so free. You have so much freedom. Embrace it. And chase it. Okay, I think I need to make the bow a lighter pink. Or rather, the lighter pink. Vesper's thing is that she just wants to put a bow on everything. She's just like, she sees a thing and she's like, let me put a bow on that. Let me put a bow on that real quick, actually. See that? I'm gonna put a bow on it. If you like it, then you should have put a bow on it. Vesper Noblesse, 2025. Her full name, and I might walk this back later, but right now I'm thinking that her full name is actually a hyphenated. So she'd be Vespertine Noblesse Dawnborough II, which is quite a mouthful. And then when she like tries to sneak off and join the warders, she just says, my name is Vesper, and she didn't think about a pseudonym. Vesper Stone. Because she like sees a cool rock on the ground while she's trying to come up with her pseudonym, and they're like, sounds fake, but whatever, we're short-staffed. So I'm not gonna complain. Engraved hearts on everything. Ah yes, Bildor, yeah. Yeah. She has a little horn. Yeah, so Cinderins usually have 2 horns, like 2 or more. But Vesper only has the 1, and she is a little self-conscious about it. She gets teased sometimes. But I think eventually, and I'm not sure how prevalent this would be in the story, but I think that eventually she's like, no, I'm a little unicorn knight, or someone else calls her like the unicorn knight or something, and she's like, yeah, I am a unicorn knight. Unicorns are cool. Why didn't I ever think of that? And she just like rocks it and she claims it, because unicorns are a thing in this universe. Again, subject to change. But I am thinking that in this universe, like, unicorns were creatures created by the gods to teach humans how to use magic. And so nowadays, like, unicorns still exist, but you're so unlikely to ever see one because they're very, like, hermited out in the woods. Okay, now comes the part where I have to figure out if these values are okay, because they look a little bit samey to me. I feel like I need to make my darks darker and my lights lighter. Ooh. Whoa. Okay, hold on. I need to... There. Make this little midsection piece a bit darker, maybe? Like a little bit of a darker red. So the focus is kind of on her midsection. We can make these pinks a little bit lighter. Make her armor a little lighter too, just a smidge. Just a smidge. And then I do think I want maybe her leggings to be a bit darker. They're kind of blending in just a tad. So are unicorns in your universe assholes or just the purest thing imaginable? I mean, I feel like unicorns can all have different personalities. But I feel like I do have, like, again, a very, very loose concept for a unicorn character. And they're just, like, a little bit of a weird hermit. Like, they just live really deep out in the woods and they never talk to people. And so then, like, another character runs into them and tries to meet them. It's like, oh my god, you're a unicorn, that's so cool. And they're just like, you're very loud. They're just tired of it all. Their main personality trait is just, like, tired of existing. It's like, yeah, I can use magic, but, like, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. It's just kind of my everyday. And then whoever is just like, oh my god, that's so cool. You're so cool. And they're like, oh, okay. Again, it's still, like, an extremely rough concept. I don't have anything too super in detail for them yet. Or, like, even what story they would be part of or anything like that. Just kind of a loose little funny idea that I came up with. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll do something with that someday. Kind of struggling a little bit getting the colors just right here. Do I give her a little bit more gold? Perhaps. I feel like on the other hand, the gold kind of clashes the silver armor a little bit, so maybe we get rid of the gold. We just do silver everything. Maybe we kind of change the hue of this midsection piece a little bit. But I kind of like making it a little bit more purpley. Kind of fun. A little bit of a hue contrast. Maybe. Mayhaps. Maybe if I make these a little lighter. Reading chat. Have you ever thought about getting your comic series animated one day? Yeah, because it's so easy to just, like, walk into an animation studio and be like, hey, can you guys animate my comic? Cool, thanks. I mean, it's something that I would love if it did eventually someday happen, but I want the comic to exist as a comic first. If there's any animation studios in my audience who want to help make Cast Off into a comic, my email's like listed on my YouTube page, but like people keep asking me if I'm ever gonna make Cast Off an animated series. I'm like, guys, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. You guys make it sound so easy. Do you have any idea how much work animation is? It's like so much. It's so much work. Way more. I do comics because animation is too much. I also just love comics, but still. So, fun fact. Vesper's hair is actually kind of like a dark red. Like her natural hair color is kind of a dark red. She bleaches it so that she'll look more like Verity. Because she's that level of nerd. It's like, I want to be just like her. I want to be just like her. Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing is, like, a lot of stuff that's getting picked up for, like, animation pilots and stuff now, it's like, I feel like I'm kind of, like, standing in this weird middle space sometimes. A liminal space, if you will, but, like, because, you know, I feel like I'm very successful at what I do, and I'm very happy about that. Like, I'm super happy with where I am now. And I acknowledge that YouTube was like a huge part of that. But I feel like I've done a lot that many of my peers have not accomplished yet. I feel like I'm at a really good place in my career. I feel like I've done a lot of really cool things. But at the same time, I look around and I see other people who are still more accomplished than me. And I'm like, what do they have that I don't? You know, it's less that I'm trying to, like, I don't want to compare myself to other people, but I'm just like, I look at someone who is more successful than me and I'm just like, what did they do that I haven't yet? It's like, what's the difference between us? Just because I think that, like, kind of comparing yourself in that way might not be, like, I don't know. It's hard to talk about. It's hard to find the words for it. But it's kind of just like, you know, I feel like a pretty cool hotshot when I say that my webcomic earned like $50,000 for a Kickstarter and I got to print like 2,000 copies, and that's so many, and that's awesome. And then I look around at, like, most Kickstarters for comics, like, don't do that well. That's awesome. That's like a huge accomplishment. And then I look at, like, some of my peers who made like way more and have, like, their books in bookstores and stuff. And I'm like, how do I get that to happen to me? What did they do that I haven't done yet to achieve that? It's less of an envy thing and more of just a, like, seeing something to aim for, I suppose you could say. Okay, I think I figured out what's bothering me. That there's a middle piece here, there's like a divider, and then there's nothing down here. So I feel like maybe I should change the design of this a little bit, or just get rid of all this middle detail. Because I feel like maybe it's muddying up the stream a little bit. Kind of making the vibe a little bit messier, and I feel like she doesn't necessarily need all that middle section detail. Maybe she can have like a little thing up here, but I don't think she needs all that decoration in the middle. See, the pain of being a former cosplayer is that I think about the practicality of all my characters' outfits. I'm just like, how would they actually put this on? How would this actually be worn? How is this garment actually structured? I think about that kind of stuff so much. Yeah, I feel like that looks a little cleaner. But now I feel like I want to make this midsection lighter. See, originally this dress thing was all the same color. Now that I'm looking at it, maybe that is better. Get rid of this, like, extra detail. And maybe it's just, like, all one dress. I feel like that's a little bit plainer, but I feel like it still works. I feel like there's better contrast with the belt now. Less is more, yeah. And if I do that, I feel like I can make the armor a little bit darker. The tricky thing is I want her to have cool toned armor, but I don't want it to clash with the pink too much. Nice middle ground between overly realistic and a simpler character design. Yeah, very much. That's why all the outfits in Cast Off are very simple. Because I'm just like, yeah, the guards wear pants and a t-shirt because I don't want to have to draw all that detail all the time. That's literally the reason. It's like, I'm gonna have to draw this outfit one fuck jillion times. It doesn't need to be that detailed. Is it a dress or a top and a skirt? I'm thinking it's like a dress. Because, you know, she takes the armor pieces off and then... Now, another concept I did consider was giving her, like... I'll just sketch it on. Like a little fabric piece, like a little tabard or something. But maybe I could do that, or I could give her another piece of armor here. Let's test how that looks. Do we want to give her another piece of armor there? Or maybe like a family crest type thing there? I feel like having the darker here is kind of helping something. Ooh, hold on. Random idea. What if it was like kind of part of the dress and she had just like a little front strap? Maybe? And then maybe it's just like a separate piece of fabric that kind of comes down. It kind of bunches a little bit. And we can put like some silver trim on it, maybe. No. Kind of do that, and then maybe we add the tabard color up to the top here. I think that'll work, but I am going to like draw it better though. I am gonna draw it better. Step 1, draw it better. Like that one Zara sticker, if I'm remembering correctly. Holly, you and Dawn scare me sometimes with how much of my shit you remember. I feel like I can't say anything around y'all because y'all will remember it. Freaking walking encyclopedias of my own story and lore over here. Meanwhile, I'm just like, why do y'all remember this better than I do? It's scary. Listen, Dawn did not earn the cast-off librarian title for nothing. She kind of scares me sometimes. I'm not as good as Dawn. I feel like you would just have like a photographic memory of all things Zara included, though, is the thing. And it's like, you know, I try and do my very best to make sure that I'm keeping my world and lore and stuff consistent. I really genuinely do my best. But then you have people who it feels like know the story and characters better than you do, and it's like, whoa, they actually remember everything. Now I'm nervous. I think I like that. That's cute. It adds a little bit more visual detail. Now, another thing I did consider was giving her tights that are like a contrasting color. And I was thinking if I did that, I'd do like a blue or something. I don't know. Is that too much? At the same time, I feel like it kind of... Maybe if I make them like a tinge more purpley. Because then it kind of matches the armor a little bit. She's got like blue tights. Star, how do your characters that are set in a medieval setting have tights? Because it's fantasy. Shut up. It's fantasy and I can do whatever I want. It's not a historical novel. Leave me alone. Characters have tights. It's fine. You won't die. Yeah, because like, okay. The pink tights I feel like they're very her, but they're very like unanimous with the rest of everything. And then we have kind of like the contrasting colored tights. What if we go crazy and we make them like a sky blue? Like that. I feel like that clashes too much. And then if we make them yellow, it's just gonna look like her skin. There's something towards the top you can tie into that blue, potentially. That's not terrible, I feel, but I almost feel like it's too much pink. I feel like that's too much pink. But there's like part of me that loves a monochrome color scheme. Maybe try green? No! I don't like green. I don't like green as much. See, like, I could try giving her, like, blue hair bows. But I feel like she's such a pink girly! Having the... changes the whole vibe. Too much. That brings a little bit more yellow into it, potentially. Like, I want to add a little bit more gold, but I almost feel like the gold clashes with the silver armor too much. Would a gradient work? I feel like a gradient might be too much. Type of thing where it's like I can always go back and change it later if I want to, because the style I do my rendering in is very non-destructive. We're just gonna play with sliders until I decide that I like something. How about white? I feel like white kind of blends in too much with the petticoat. But it's not terrible. Maybe we'll leave it at that for right now. Perhaps we leave it at that for right now. Because her hair is supposed to be very light too. And that kind of brings it together, I feel. Tweak the skin tone just a little bit. Just an itty bitty bit. Okay, I want to try something. That down to like very low. What the heck happened? Did I accidentally? Yeah, I scooched my colors on accident. Again, it'll do. It'll do. All right. I'm wondering if maybe I make these straps the lighter kind of like reddish brown. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. I've been drawing with this in on the background and I just looked up and wow, you got a lot done quickly. Yeah, we go fast here. We zoom. We zoom. All right, I am gonna go ahead and render her eyes real quick. And I already have a color in mind that I want to use. Because I drew a Vesper a while back that I liked the colors for the eyes. I might have to tweak them just so that they look perfect in this rendering, but her eyes are kind of like kind of similar to my VTubers, but more of like a pink to a yellow as opposed to mine are like a red to a yellow. Like a red to an orange. Kind of similar like dual tone, just a little bit. Depending on how the light hits them. Just because I feel like it works with her color scheme. Look at my baby. She's so cute. She's just a little creature and she's very adorable. Honestly, love the way you do eyes. It's simple yet very nice. Thank you. I like drawing eyes. It's fun. Fun 4-star. Fun for me. I was thinking one thing that might be kind of cool in universe. I don't know if I'm going to stick to it or maybe I'll just like... Maybe I'll do it for just like specific character ancestries. But characters who like canonically actually have the light colored pupils. I think maybe that would be cool. It's like maybe some characters just have eyes like that. And it's a known thing in universe, so no one thinks it's weird. I would watch a show/movie in your style. I imagine the animation would be very fluid and bouncy. Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you. I think it would be fun to do like some sort of animated something or other, but I ain't doing it myself. Listen, I may have gone to school for animation, but that kind of helped me figure out that I like doing comics way more because it's a project I can do by myself, and it's a hell of a lot less work. Okay, and now it's time for the shading part. Because I feel like with comics, there's less work for a similar amount of reward. Where it's like, yeah, I have to draw this character like 6 times on a page, but I can get through the story way faster because I don't have to draw that character like 12 times per second. You know? It's like, I admire people who really, really love animation to the point that they, like, do it all the time. Couldn't be me, though. I like comics. I think part of it is just because, like, I put a lot more focus on, like, story and being able to, like, tell stories rather than, like, a lot of animation is storytelling, but it's also just, you know, like, making the movements look pretty and, like, having fun characters. Where in, like, comics, I feel like I get more out of the experience of making comics because I can get into the story much faster than if I was animating it, I guess, if that makes sense. Why do you shade your characters without color? Makes it easier to see where I have and haven't shaded already. I don't have to do this step, or I don't have to, like, make the colors gray first, but it makes it easier to see, like, if I've missed a spot. I feel like I've run out of things to yap about. It's been so long since I did 2 streams in 1 week. I don't know what I want to yap about. I've yapped about my character so much already. And I feel like I yapped about my next video enough on the last stream. I'm gonna bore you guys if I start yapping about that again. See, I know a lot of times people will write down, like, topics for streams in advance. And I do that sometimes, but I did not do it for this one. New plants? I haven't gotten any new plants recently. I always look at, like, the houseplant section whenever I go to, like, Walmart or Lowe's or something. And they haven't had anything new that I want. However, I do have some propagations of one of my pothos that are ready to be potted. But I don't really have a good pot for them, and I kind of want to get a hanging pot that I can put in a window in my kitchen. Or even outside, perhaps. I'm not sure. How's your cousin doing since last stream? I've heard no updates, which I assume is, it's one of those no news is good news type of thing. From what I understand, he didn't break anything. He was just, like, really trashed. He got like really road rashed, but that was about it as far as I was told. So he'll be fine. Just might get some cool scars out of it. I like hanging pots because I can keep them from being cat salads. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. My problem is like hanging pots confuse me because where does the extra water go? Like what if I accidentally overwater it? Does that just sit in the pot forever? Like, most of my plants need good drainage, and I feel like a hanging pot just has 0 drainage. You're floored? No! No, that's gross. I don't want to worry about drippies. Like, I already take my plants down and sit them, like, so 2 of my pots of plants, my potted plants, they have pots with holes in the bottom, but they don't have anywhere for the water to go once it goes out of the hole, so I stick them in the sink when I water them and then just wait for all the excess water to drain out. Does it really just go on the floor? Because I was thinking, like, I might get, you know, like a hanging planter from my porch or something. But if I wanted to get, like, a hanging pot for, say, my kitchen, what would I do? And, like, you go to Walmart or whatever, and you look at the hanging pots, and it's just like, where does the excess water go? There's just all this, like, weird grass crap in the bottom. How does it not get moldy? I'm just like, I don't understand this. But I do think that having some outdoor water bowl under the plant, no, because then that feels gross. There's some that have the section on the bottom part of the pot. I do have a few pots like that, but I haven't seen hanging pots with those. Most of the hanging pots that I have seen don't have any kind of drainage. And I'm just like, but it needs drainage or else the plant's gonna get waterlogged and it's gonna get root rot. Maybe I'm just missing something. Because I would love hanging pots, but I can't get over where does the water go? Where does the water go? Where does it go? You can leave it in its plastic nursery pot so it's easy to take out of its hanging pot to water and then drain your sink and then put it in the bag. I guess. I don't know. I feel like I need to research this more. I like the idea of, like, because I have a cute porch. My house has a cute porch, so I think the next step would be getting some porch plants. Maybe some, like, hanging porch plants. I have lots of neighbors with, like, plants in pots just kind of out in their yard. Or, like, next to their trees. And I'm thinking I could get some cool plants in pots to put on my porch. But how do I water them? I would love, like, some hanging flower pots. I like flowers. See, the thing is, one of my favorite plants, one of my favorite flowers is hydrangeas. They do not like growing here. The temperature, it's too hot and dry for hydrangeas, really. And when I asked, because, like, my local gardening store, they sell hydrangeas. And so at one point I asked one of the people who worked there, I'm like, hey, I've tried growing hydrangeas in ground before and they died, like, immediately. And apparently it's because the soil around here is too alkaline. And the lady at the store said you can grow them in pots, but you don't want to use them for landscaping because they can't survive with our, like, very, very alkaline soil. It needs to be more acidic. And I said, I see. So what I'm hearing is that I could grow them in a container. She was like, yeah. So it's like, I got some hydrangeas in a container and they died because I didn't water them enough. But I would love some hydrangeas around my house. Because, like, my front yard's pretty shady. We have a lot of trees in the front yard, and, like, grass doesn't even like to grow. which I'm cool with because it means I don't have to mow it. Fuck grass. I hate grass. Just clover. You didn't see the photos I sent, did you? I'm not looking at Discord. I'm streaming right now. Look at it later. Look at it later. But yeah, at my old house, I wanted to like try and do a clover lawn instead because the yard at my back at my my old house is pretty big and it's one of the things I didn't like very much. It's because it needed a lot of water to stay alive, but I was too cheap to water it and it felt like a waste of water, so I just didn't water it and then it died and then it looks like crap and I was just like, fucking grass. Why can't I just have a clover lawn? And so I feel like if I stayed at that old house, I would have eventually replaced everything with a clover lawn. But if my new house had already had a clover lawn because all the grass died and just clover kind of grew in its place, and I'm like, hell yeah, I don't have to mow this shit. Let's fucking go. It's awesome. It's from last week. I'm propagating 20 plus hydrangeas for you. What? Well, now I have to go look at this image. I didn't realize that those were hydrangea plants. I just thought they were little guys. I didn't know what they were. Oh, there's a cat in that one. Holly's over here spoiling me. Oh, those are kind of pretty. Gonna be honest though, the glass ones might scare me just a little bit because I'd worry that if a strong wind happened, they would fall and break. I'll look at them later though. That's an idea. It is an idea. If I could press the right button for my keyboard shortcuts, that would be great. That would be ideal. They look like glass, but they're plastic. Ooh. That's less breakable. Less heavy. I do have some, like, screw-in hooks that I've just kind of had for a while, and I've been using them. I bought a bird feeder for my back porch. So I've got a bird feeder now. You have to do the suburban thing, and you gotta get a bird feeder, and you gotta put bird seed in it, and you gotta feed the birds. The problem is, I don't think the birds know that it exists. We had so many freaking, like, songbirds when I first moved in back in spring. I don't really hear them as often anymore. Do birds go away in spring when because it's too fucking hot? I feel like they must, because I remember when I first moved in, I was taking walks around the neighborhood in the morning, and you would just hear, like, all kinds of songbirds. And now I don't hear them anymore, and I'm like, where did they go? Where did my pretty birds go? I put out birdseed for you. I even put some just random, like, a pile of birdseed on my porch to try and entice the birdies, even if they could not see the bird feeder where it's hanging. I was hoping that, you know, they'd see the bird seed and then they would use their bird senses to see, oh, there is more up there, and then they would come and use the bird feeder, but I haven't seen any birds on it yet. It's the wrong season for birds to be horny. All right. I don't need to know about the Tinder habits of birds. Why can't they just sing for fun? That's what I do. Me who keeps wanting to try and do song covers and then chickens out. There aren't any, there's a good chance that there might be a predator nearby. I mean, I do have my neighbors with outdoor cats. So that might be affecting things. But I want Birds. I had a family of cardinals that lived in my old house, and they made a nest in my bushes, and I loved them. I loved them dearly. And I got a little feed mix that's specifically for cardinals. Why won't they love me? Why do my birds not love me? I'm feeding them. I just want to be able to see cute birdies. You get cardinals in Texas? Yeah! I had a whole family of cardinals that lived in the bushes at my old house. And they made a nest in the bushes where I could plainly see them when I, like, out my window, in one of my extra bedrooms. And there was a cardinal, like, I had a bird feeder at my old house, but it fell and broke. But while that bird feeder was functional, there was a cardinal that would come every morning to get some birdseed, and it was extremely cute. I like cardinals, and I especially like it when Christmas decorations put 2 red cardinals on a thing, because people don't realize that cardinals, only the male cardinals are red, and I love it when, like, Christmas and winter merchandise puts 2 red cardinals on their merch, because then I can be like, hell yeah, gay cardinals. And I pointed out to my mom literally every time I see it while we're out shopping. And I'm like, hey mom, look, gay cardinals. And then she rolls her eyes at me. But I love gay cardinals. And I feel like my love of gay cardinals is just, like, known throughout my immediate family. I don't know if my dad cares, but I feel like I think my brother has also acknowledged my love of gay cardinals. Because I've, like, texted him things with gay cardinals before. I just think it's funny. Especially because it's always, like, Christmas stuff. It's always, you know, like, the very Christian Christmas stuff that has 2 little red cardinals on it. It's like, haha, those fools don't know these birds are gay. I love it. I love gay cardinals. Those birds are in an MLM. They sell leggings. Wait, wrong MLM. I'm just saying words now at this point. Ugh. My weird muscle back that's radiating into my chest pain is coming back. No. Because I haven't been horizontal enough this week. I've been upright and sitting at my desk too much, and my back is protesting. M. Creeper, thank you for the super chat. Come down today and try some corn, or we will sacrifice your newborn. No! Well, good thing I don't have any newborns. Because otherwise, that would be scary. What was the context of that video? I've seen the memes. It's kind of alarming. Oh my god, wait. I have a thing that I can yap about. Because guys, I've been bad. I've been doing the bad thing. I'm doing the bad thing, and I'm falling down a YouTube drama rabbit hole again. Guys, I'm watching YouTube drama videos specifically about writer drama. And I'm just like, oh no, why'd you do that though? Why'd you do that though? And it's just like, I get secondhand embarrassment from this one particular situation I've been watching that's like happening very currently, and so a lot of videos are coming out about it. And basically what happened is that if anyone wants to look this up, look up Audra Winter. That's the writer's name. It's a pseudonym, but anyway. Basically, this girl spends like... She's in her early 20s, and she keeps talking about this book that she's writing. It's like her debut novel, and it's like a fantasy series, and she's like spent years... She started writing it when she was 12, and she's gonna self-publish it, and it's gonna be amazing. And she is extremely good at like marketing this book on TikTok, and she ends up getting like 5,000 some pre-orders for her book. It comes out, and the book is... It reads like a 12-year-old wrote it. It's like there's no hook. It's like she didn't put out any writing samples before publishing the book, and people are like real mad because it's like, this doesn't even look like you had an editor even sniff it. What the heck? And she's getting extremely defensive, and now she's like, okay, I hear you. I'm gonna take down the version that's already been made, and I'm gonna come out with a more expensive edition of the work with painted page edges, and it's like, girl, just write a better book! Honey bunches! I started writing when I was 12 too, and the stuff I wrote when I was 12 was bad! The idea is that you write a bunch of different stories so that you eventually get better. Always have an editor sniff your book. Yeah, there's a Tumblr post that I love that's just like, I didn't read your email, but I gave it a sniff. And I just think about that now. It's like, I didn't edit this book, and I didn't even sniff it. An editor has not even sniffed this book. And it's like, yeah, I wrote stuff when I was 12 too, and it was bad. So I rewrote it, or I came up with other stories. And it's just like, she is digging in her heels so intensely, and she's like, I hired an editor, but it does not read like an editor even sniffed it, like I said. And so everyone's like, what do you want to bet that she hired an editor and then did not take the editor's advice at all? And it's, this whole thing is just giving me like, I'm just looking at it like, honey, no. Honey bunches, no. Just listen, people are giving you like really legitimately good advice here. Like, some people are being assholes, and I totally get not wanting to listen to the assholes, but like some people are giving you like genuinely good advice. Like, an example was one of the things is like, her story like really did not have a hook at all. It was just like, it was the thing that I hate. She did the thing I hate. Where it's just like, the opener is just like focused way too much on the world building and the lore, and someone tried pointing this out to her, and he's like, I feel like your story needs a stronger hook. There's really nothing to get us like interested in the story. And her comeback to that was, my world is my hook. No! I'm just like, no, it's not. No! I'm like, that's not what a hook is. That's not what a hook is. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! And it's just like, you ever watch somebody just like dig in their heels really hard? And it's like, you could recover from this if you just like unclenched your heels like a little itty bitty bit. Little itty bitty bit. Like, dig your heels out of the dirt that you have so viciously planted them into. It's like, you could come back from this, but she is so fucking determined to just dig her fucking heels in and keep putting out like new editions with painted edges and fanciful like text, like page borders, and everyone's like, no one cares, just write a good book, right? Focus on making your story better. It doesn't need a special edition that's painted because no one's gonna buy it if it sucks. If the contents of your book sucks, no one's going to want to read it because it's bad. You are applying paint to a car that is actively on fire. Focus on other things! And it's just like, oh my god. Oh my god.
Why'd you do all that?
Oh, and the other thing is, like, she keeps bragging about how she got so many pre-orders that she turned it into a, quote, 6-figure business. And I'm like, yeah, what do you want to bet she made, like, $99,000 on her tax? And it was just like, yep, that's 6 figures. And what do you want to bet that's, like, pre-expenses, too? Because she also keeps bragging about how she's hired an entire team of artists for a debut novel? And I'm just like, I get it if you have, like, friends who you want to, like, pay, like, commission to draw some artwork, but she keeps saying it like she has artists on payroll, and she's got a team of, like, 20 people doing art and fancy page borders for this book. And I'm like, you want an enterprise? But you don't have the substance for that. You've got the marketing skills for that, clearly. You do not have, like, you need to work on your writing chops a bit, is what I feel like. Oh, yeah, and then another thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is that she was saying, it's like, yeah, my book has, like, very neurodivergent, what's the word? Representation. And so people were giving her shit and seeing, like, this book, the character voice is all over the place, and it's impossible to read because, like, the main character's thoughts, she keeps repeating things over and over and over again, and it's extremely hard to read. So I feel like you need to do a pass where you just, like, take out some of the repetitive phrasing. And she's like, my character voice is based on my neurodivergent main character. And how often do you think in coherent sentences? I bet you don't. It's neurodivergent representation, and this is how I think, and so that's how my character thinks. And I'm like, yeah, but that makes it, like, really hard to read and focus on. And I saw, like, a YouTube comment where someone was saying, it's like, okay, so she's saying that her book is bad because the main character is divergent. That's, like, pretty insulting. And I'm like, oof. Yeah, when you put it like that, it's like, Oh, God, yeah. And the other thing was that, like, the main character keeps, like, info dumping. She's, like, so prone to info dumping about her lore, like, the world's lore constantly. And when people are saying, it's like, yeah, I mean, you might find, like, a better way to, you know, like, integrate the world building into the story so your main character just isn't info dumping constantly. And she's like, my main character's autistic and the world that she lives in is her special interest, and that's why she's always info dumping. I'm like, no! That's just an excuse for bad writing! There's ways to do narrative exposition. It's like, okay, I understand if you want to do that, and your character is, like, in universe is a major history buff. That's totally fine, but you are going about this in, like, the worst way possible. Because, like, there's more naturalistic ways to drop exposition, and, like, I feel like you're just using that as an excuse. Baby, no! I'm just like, oh my God, this gives me similar vibes to all the kids in your freshman comic classes at SCAD who, like, immediately roll up to class and say that they're gonna grow up to be a famous manga artist and live in Japan, and I'm like, you have specific goals, and you have not quite built up the skills to get you there. But you're very loud about the goal, aren't ya? And I mean no shade to, like, you know, people who like manga and people who want to make manga. It's like, that's fine. But there's, like, a I hope you guys understand what I'm saying when I say that there's, like, a very specific type of creator who is so obsessed with the idea of making it as an artist when they focus so much on the idea of making it and being famous and having this dream aesthetic that they focus more on that than the actual quality of their work, and it shows. It shows. Using someone's mental state for poor writing is quite something. Yeah. Do you want to make manga, or are you just dreaming about living in Japan? Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get. I mean, like, I was that person when I was 12, so I get it. But you'd hope that by college they would have, like, you know, at least built up the skills for that. It's like, they sure love talking about this goal, but are they actually gonna do it? Or do they just really like talking about this dream that they have? Because I feel like there is a big difference. And this is not me trying to be a hater, I'm just saying, as someone who has been very adamant about chasing the things she wants for most of my life, there is a huge difference between someone who is actually motivated to chase their dreams and someone who just really likes talking about their dreams and makes no movements towards doing the things that are actually going to get you there. The idea that talk is cheap. Talk is extremely cheap. But I feel like when you meet someone who's like, yeah, I really, really want to do this thing, or I really, really want to do this, I feel like there is a massive, like, canyon of a difference between someone who thinks that talking about it is going to get them there and someone who actually puts their head down and does the work. And I like to think that I am the second type of person, but I've known a lot of the first type of person. Most of my friends who, like, I grew up with, who were artists and kept talking about how much they wanted to be famous artists when they grew up, are not famous artists, because I feel like they fell in love with the idea of something more than actually doing something. You know? I feel like a lot of people really like the idea of, like, starting an animation studio, or making a web comic, or doing all this other stuff, but then they don't actually even take the steps to doing the thing. And it's like, well, how do you expect to accomplish that if you don't do all parts of it? You know? Going to 100 of the first type of person for every one of people like you. Yeah. This is super motivational for me to sit down and work on some stuff, thanks. Yeah! Motivation! Like, I feel like there's so many people who are just talk, and the way you differentiate yourself from the people who are just talk is by doing. Doing it bad is worth 10 times as much as doing nothing at all and just talking about it. I will say that much. Because then at least you're doing something, first of all. If you make something bad, at least you're fucking making something. That already puts you leagues above the people who just talk about their dreams and do nothing about it. And just wait for it to come to them. Because newsflash, good things don't come to people who wait. Good things come to people who work their fucking ass off to get the good things. You're not gonna catch a fish by sitting on the pier and staring at the ocean. You're gonna catch a fish by jumping in the fucking water and wrestling it with your bare fucking hands. That's how we catch fish in Texas. And I feel like when you're young and you're just starting, that is the time to do things badly. Now is the time to fuck up. When you are young and you are just starting, that is the time to make the mistakes. That's when you want to do it. If you're worried about doing something badly, the time to do it badly is now. Just do the thing. I feel like also a lot of people get so wrapped up in that they want it to be perfect, that they get so scared of doing a bad job that it paralyzes them and they never actually do anything. I would much rather read a bad comic than nothing at all. My first webcomic kind of sucked. It did. It genuinely did. It's like, I had a lot of fun working on that comic. It taught me a lot. It's objectively not very good. But I did it. And I learned way more making a bad comic than I did just sitting in my bedroom and collecting how to draw manga books and thinking about someday I'm gonna be a manga artist in Japan. And buying a notebook that says "Dream Big" on the front cover. Making a bad comic got me so much closer to doing what I do now than any talk ever did. Think about it. This is our our usual end of stream motivational TED Talk. This happens every single time. I'm not in control of it. I'm just the type of person where if you leave me unattended for too long, it devolves into a TED Talk, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Damn, I'm suddenly motivated. Good! Go draw something shitty! Do it! Because I want to read it. And I guess just kind of, because we're going to end stream here in a second, but just to kind of like put a little bow on it, I suppose, is that I read all the comments I get. And I appreciate all the kind comments I get. You guys are genuinely super nice, and I genuinely don't respond just because I'm shy and I don't know what to say except thank you, and I feel like that would just get repetitive. But I do read like pretty much every single comment that comes through on my videos. But of all the comments that I get, the ones that mean the most to me are the ones that say, your advice helped motivate me to make something. I am making something and I am chasing things and I am doing things because of you. Is like people saying that you inspired me to actually get up and do this thing. Or you're like, the things you say were so encouraging that it made me want to like push past my fear and actually do the things I want to do. If I could, I would print out every single one of those comments I ever got and print them into a book, because that's the kind of shit that I live off of, genuinely. Like, the idea that people are looking at the things I do and deciding that they want to make something because I helped get them to that place where they wanted to stop talking and start doing, that is like crack to me. That is like the best compliment I could ever get, and I am genuinely, whenever I get those comments, I am so fucking excited for the people who send them to me, because you are gonna do something so fucking cool, and I am so excited for you to experience the joy of just sitting down and making something for yourself. It feels awesome, and I hope that every single one of you guys find as much joy from it that I have, because the world needs creative people, and we need creative people who are going to do things instead of just talking about them. And if I was the person who helped get you there, then that is the biggest honor you could bestow upon me as a humble internet yappy person. So I just hope that you guys have a delightful time making that dream project. Less talking, more doing, exactly. And I hope you guys find joy doing the things that make you happy and making things. Because if I have helped even one person chase something that they were otherwise too scared to do, then I feel like I have accomplished something. And that makes me feel like so fucking cool. But it also makes me feel like you guys are real fucking cool. The certified yapping on making things helps a lot. I mean, it's just like, I just like talking about the stuff I make, and people are always coming to me and saying it's like, you talking about your thing helped motivate me to make my thing. And I'm like, I feel like I'm not doing anything special, but if you guys feel like that's helpful, then hell yeah, I am glad. I am so fucking hyped to be part of that journey. Let's fucking go. I could hear the trademark TM and internet yappy person. Yeah, that's me. Certified yapper will never shut up. Hee 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 hee. It was actually so cool because I actually met a comic artist who got accepted into Spider Forest a couple years ago. And I wasn't caught up on their comic at the time, but I had read part of it, and I was like I was vaguely familiar with it, but I wasn't caught up on it. But I did like what I read, and I thought it was very cool. And like, me and this person had never talked until I found out that they were local, and they actually came to a convention that I was tabling at because they wanted to meet me and say hi. And I found out that day that person whose comic I read and enjoyed had started making it in part because they read how to webcomic, and they talked about like how much it helped them. And I was like, oh my god. People are like actually doing stuff with this and like taking the advice I give, and it's actually like helping, because they had been making that comic for like 2 years at that point. And that just kind of exploded my brain a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that was the point of the book. That's like the whole reason why I made it. But the fact that something I like made actually helped someone make something else is so fucking cool. That's so heckin' cool. And I just feel like there's value in making stuff that's important to you, and there's a value on leaving a mark on the people who enjoy the things you make. And the former brings me a lot of joy, but the latter is just like... The latter is so fucking peak. It's just, it's so different in like the best way. And it's like, oh my god. It's just like an Uma Musume. I feel like I'm a fucking... People are using me as a legacy Uma, and I'm like, hell yeah! I'm gonna grab you and I'm gonna slingshot people to greater heights, and I'm like, yes! Yes, that's so fucking cool! Go to the moon for me! Ah, it's so exciting. It's genuinely so cool. And I am so proud of y'all who are out there actually making shit. It's awesome. Horse Girls mentioned. Pew, 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 pew. Listen, I'm gonna stream that game at some point. Not anytime super soon probably, but that has definitely been like my cooldown game for a little bit here. You're the legacy Uma with 3 sparks. Yeah, 3 motivation sparks. Let's fucking go. I'm gonna be honest, chat, I still don't fully know how the spark system works in Uma Musume. But I'm doing my best, and I'm learning, and I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos so I can make my horsey go fast. I have to make my horsey go fast. Dude, if I can rant about a mobile game for like 3 seconds, I had a whole lot of carrots saved up, and I was like, I could do a couple rolls and try to get Smart Falcon. I could use another Dirt Runner, why not? And the game will not give me Falcon, but it did give me fucking TM Opera O and Biwa Hayahide on like the same fucking day. And Biwa got through like a solo pull. A solo pull got me a 3-star character, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I love you, but how did that happen? Like, genuinely, I'd been trying to get hers for a long time because I really like her design. She's pretty, and she reminds me of Takane Idolmaster, and she just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, cool. All the horse lesbians. Indeed, horse lesbians. Hippie. However, with that, I think we are close to done here, and it's about time to end the stream anywhoosie. Try and finish adding some, like, finishing touches to the rendering. Oh. Playing the relaxing music. It's playing the relaxing, peaceful music. Don't make me fall asleep. I'm eeps. Chat, I'm so eepy. Look at my baby! Guys, she's my baby Blorbito! Look at how cute she is! Oh, my baby Blorbo, my baby Vesper. She's so cute and tiny and little and cute. Precious. I love her. shadow underneath her. I think perhaps we give her a little outline. Funsies. We do a little bit of our usual silly gradient shading. Cooking, chat. Listen to me cooking. Look at my baby. She's so cute. Love her. Baby Vesper. Alright, but with that, I'm tired, my back hurts, and I want to go eat a Hot Pocket and lay down. So, I think we're gonna call it today. I don't know when my next stream will be, but keep an eye on the waiting room list, and I will alert you guys when I know. But until then, thank you guys for joining me. We're gonna go and call it for the night. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Fare thee well, friends. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye! Oh yeah, and go get your Ariana plushies! Only 2 weeks left to get an Ariana plushie! Link below!